Yeah. What's up, gang? Welcome back to Trenches Politics, where you politicking from the trenches. Russell Simmons has been sued by alleged rape victim and a DefJam studio producer in the late 1990s. Variety reports that a former music video producer has sued Russell Simmons on Tuesday, alleging that he had raped her when she worked for DefJam recording studios in the late 1990s. Former music video producer has sued Russell Simmons on Tuesday, alleging that he had raped her when she worked for Def Jam recording studios in the late 1990s. The woman identified in the complaint as Jane Doe alleges that she went to Russell Simmons' Manhattan apartment to get his approval for a rough draft cut of a music video, but once she was there, she alleged that Russell made an attempt to put her in a wrestling move and pin her down to his bed and proceeded to rape her. Then once Miss Jane Doe rejected his advance and told him to get off and stopped several times, the lawsuit states that she told him she was serious and she meant it, but Miss Jane Doe was forcefully pinned and could not move under his weight, and Mr. Simmons would not listen to her. Russell Simmons was once one of many powerful men accused of sexual assault in 2017. After multiple women came forward with allegations against him, he was forced to step down from his roles as Def Jam and his yoga lifestyle brand. A 2020 documentary on the record detailed the allegations of several accusers. According to the lawsuit, Jane Doe saw a familiar pattern. When Miss Jane Doe learned about the accounts of the other survivors, she was then struck by how similar they were to hers. The lawsuit alleged that leading up to the assault, Russell Simmons would also sexually harass the plaintiffs in her own office, her own workspace, shutting the door behind him, leaning over her, and making sexual attempts. The plaintiff's attorney, Kenya Davis, said Tuesday that their client's career was on the upswing before the assault. She was so proud of her contributions to the music rap industry of hip hop, but her hard work and her career in music was disrupted and derailed by Mr. Russell Simmons, a rich and powerful celebrity whose wealth and influence allowed his abusive behavior to go unchallenged for decades. Now a successful writer and producer in the entertainment industry, Jane Doe's traumatic experience with Russell Simmons echoes those of so many other women who he has preyed upon for decades. The lawsuit alleges that she was forever changed by the assault, that she suffered from dissociation, depression, and anxiety, that she turned in her own notice to Def Jam shortly afterwards. The claim also says that she suffered from panic attacks and developed an eating disorder and had difficulty dealing with heightened emotions in work settings. She left 3 jobs in the production company over the 2-year period, according to the complaint. In March 2023, she went to a yoga class and found herself next to Simmons, according to the suit. She was startled when he said her name, and she asked if it was okay to practice next to him. He then responded, "Of course. What do you think? I'm going to try to fuck you?" The lawsuit states. Now, Miss Jane Doe was horrified. The complaint continues. She then realized not only was he unapologetic towards her personally, he did not appreciate that the assault was wrong. The lawsuit was filed under New York Adult Survivors Act and the New York City Gender Motivated Violence Act, both of which adopted temporary look-back windows to revive suits that otherwise would be outside the statute of limitations. To give you an example, for a couple other cases that he had been accused of, Jennifer Jarosik filed a rape lawsuit against Russell Simmons in federal court in January 2018. That complaint was dropped. A few months later, another accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, sued Russell Simmons in the state court in Los Angeles in March 2018. A judge then threw that case out in 2020 because the allegation was buried by the state of limitations. Russell Simmons has apologized for being thoughtless and insensitive, but has said he was never violent in any podcast interview last year. Russell Simmons acknowledged being in compromised situations, but said he had taken and passed 9 lie detector tests dealing with the allegations of violent conduct, and he's not guilty so far. That's what he says. Now, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. But make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe. Now, do you think Russell Simmons is guilty, or do you think this lady's just coming up with different allegations because she feels though the law uh, was placed in effect where she could do that? Now, if you guys ain't check out anything that happened with anything recently, check out these next clips. But then make sure you hit that like button after the video's over. Thank you.
Excuse my language. But that's what he did. I had to keep this secret.
He showed up naked wearing a condom and tackled me to his bed while I screamed and fought and said no and cried. That's rape.
If the allegations are not true, why would all these women accuse you?
I heard someone else say this, that I was quite frivolous. Look, there's a song by Houdini, I'm a hoe, I'm a hoe. 3 different girls after every show. Culturally, we thought that was the right way. And a number of sexual partners and compromising positions I put myself in is beyond anybody's imagination.
You said you had more foursomes than most men have partners.
You raped me right up against the wall. Excuse my language.
Yeah, and that wasn't really, I think it was cultural and silly and egotistic and sad and from an insecurity that feeds it, and a lot of reasons why we were that way. If you slept with as many people as I slept with, thousands, and we're talking about 6 people.
There were like 20, right? I mean,
I spoke poorly. Oh, you mean
rape
that's not, no, yeah. I spoke poorly to 15 of them. I mean, 12 of them. I spoke poorly all the time. I'm a Def Comedy Jam guy. I was crude. So how many compromising situations was I in? And if you call that person and say, can you help me help these other women, then you can get them to tell a story and reimagine a story. And I'm not here to say what they were thinking, but I can simply tell you that I was in so many compromises. Yeah, and that was situation. That people can have a recollection from 30 or 40 years ago. And it can be different from my recollection. And it could be one where there was perhaps collaboration. If you had more foursomes than most guys had once, could someone leave and feel hurt? Could someone leave and feel they wish they hadn't? Could someone reimagine a story out of thousands of people? Could someone want notoriety in a market where people thirst for fame, even infamous? Could someone who just came out of jail and want to sue you because they had an experience and they can reimagine it just a little bit different? And could you be vulnerable enough to accept it? I took 9 lie detector tests. People don't know that. 9 separate, 7 from the chairman of the Polygraph Association, 1 for each of the situations that people serious accusations. 1 for when someone said, for instance, I was violent. One person said that. I've never been violent. Took that. 1 for I apologized. I never apologized about assaulting anyone. But if 2 people say it, because one said it and me too, and the second person said it, then I took a test for it. 3 hours per test by 2 polygraph examiners. One that I've never done this to anyone and one I've never done to each individual. Some people say that they're not accurate, but if they're 94% accurate, I did 9 of them. It's pretty clear that I don't believe it. I even asked well, what if I believe it, but it's not true? He said, your subconscious will get you. I don't know how true that is, but that's what was told to me by the chairman of the Polygraph Association. He was filmed, by the way, talking about this. So there's footage available. No one in the mainstream would cover that.
Why do you think that is?
There's a narrative, serious accusations.
Which is what?
That we don't want to go backwards. We want to believe women. But women and celebrities may be in some cases a little different. But we don't want to not believe women. We have to believe women. We have to give them the benefit of the doubt, but we can't demonize people without proof either. Twitter cannot make a decision. I've never spoken to a policeman. I've never spoken to a judge about anything.
Which is